Well, a new Quinnipiac University poll out this morning indicates that voters disapprove of President Obama's approach to health care reform. There are signs there could be trouble for the administration once Congress returns from its August recess. Lizzie O'Leary is in Washington, D.C. She has the details. Lizzie.
Hey, Judah, yeah, these numbers just out at 6:30 this morning. And basically what they say here is that public disapproval of the way President Obama is handling the health care overhaul debate has risen by roughly 10 percentage points. Now, this, of course, is as he's been pushing for this bill, members of Congress heading back to their districts for their August recess this week. And according to Peter Brown, the head of assistant director of Quinnipiac's Polling Institute, that could translate to trouble for supporters of overhauling health care.
Obviously, the White House and the Democratic leadership are very concerned that the month of August does not become the time when the plan died, that public opinion went the other way.
Now, one spot of relatively good news for Democrats and folks on the Hill is that roughly 6 in 10 people polled still support the idea of some sort of public option. You can see support for a government-run plan of some type has decreased slightly over the last month, but still support remains above 60%. Another thing you see in this poll, it brought in the idea of the deficit for the first time, increasing it in order to pay for health care. The president's repeatedly said he wanted something deficit neutral, but despite that commitment, an overwhelming 72% of voters predict the president's not going to keep his promise to bring health care reform without increasing the deficit. You've got the folks at Quinnipiac elaborating on that.
Americans are very concerned about the deficit, so much so that many Americans, a majority on some questions, clearly would prefer that the deficit not be increased, even if that means that health care reform doesn't happen.
That brings us to one very interesting thing in this poll. 55% of the folks who responded said they're more concerned about increasing the deficit than they are about Congress not passing health care reform. So we still don't know exactly how all this is going to pan out. We certainly don't know who and how they're going to pay for the overhaul, but we're certainly going to hear more about it over the month of August, Eric.